YouTube with uh, Miki Kersgard. This mic is all yours.
Hello. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, everybody who was on earlier today. Zulma, you were hysterical. And Sharon and Dove and Gloria and hi, Karen, Lynn, everybody who was here this morning for Thankful Thursday. I am so thankful for all of you. Zulma, if you're there, I'm going to do another hack today. I'll uh, I'll text you about it if you don't get to hear it here. Um, okay. As usual, my brain's going everywhere. I have no idea what I'm doing or what I'm saying. Hi, Glorian. Um, so I'm going to shut up for a second and bring in Holy Spirit. And in honor of Karen not leading us in this prayer earlier, I'm going to do the truly thankful prayer. I am here only to be truly helpful because I am here to represent him who sent me. And I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because he who sent me will direct me. And I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. Thank you. Thank you. Whew, that feels better. Feels a little more grounded. Um, so, like I said, I'm going to do a hack, but first I want to talk about why I did this hack. Um, I had a confrontation with guilt last week. I collided with guilt. Um, you know, we know from reading the course for how many years? I don't even know anymore. Um, that there's this unconscious guilt that we feel that runs through everything we do because of the separation. But for years, I resisted this concept. I knew it. I admitted it. I understood it. I had it in my brain. I could talk about it till the cows came home. But I wasn't guilty. No, no, not me. I'm the innocent one. I'm the victim. I had victim stories from the get-go, from the minute I was born, 2 months, 2 months premature and thrown into an incubator for months. Uh, that I was abandoned and alone and the victim. And I carried that through everything I did. So it's not my fault. I'm the victim here. You're the guilty one. You put me in that incubator. You bullied me in school. You did this, you did that. I was the queen of victimhood. And so the guilt wasn't mine. It was everybody else's. And I was not going to claim that guilt. And suddenly, one day last week, even though I had known it was unconscious, I suddenly got in touch with it. Oh my God. And I felt that guilt of separating and rejecting God and wanting to have this identity, wanting to have this personality, wanting to be a separate Miki. I felt it so clearly and it stuck with me. It was huge. And and I was reading something, and I know I read part of this last week, but it occurred to me also that I could memorize every word of this course. I could know, that I'm about to read from chapter 12, section 2, and it's where we talk about denying the denial of truth. I couldn't have told you that last week, which section and which chapter it was. I could know everything in this book backwards and forwards. If I don't practice it, it gets me nowhere. And that moment where I actually went into, oh my God, I feel the guilt. That's the practice. It's when you take what it says in this book and you apply it to yourself and feel what it's talking about is when we're finally understanding the course. And Karen wrote in Ken's quote, the twofold purpose of the ego. I exist and it's not my fault. And that is exactly what I was doing. I exist. I want to be a Miki. I want to be separate. I don't know. That's your guilt. It's not mine. I know it's unconscious, but that doesn't mean anything to me. And suddenly it meant something. It meant everything. I understood why we exist, why this whole thing happened. It was huge. I really, and that's the practice. So, um, I did a little hack on the section 2 of chapter 12, the way to remember God. And it uses the word sick and sickness. And there's an instance of fog also. And for all of those, so it does not use the word guilt in this section once. So every time I use the word guilt here, know that that's my little hack, that I substituted the word guilt for the word sick or fog. So I'm going to start going through this. I'll probably have a lot to say in the middle of it. The way to remember God. Miracles are merely the translation of denial into truth. And, a couple of weeks ago, I went over using denial in a good way in the course. This is one of those ones that's in the bad way. If we're denying the truth, if I was to sit there and still deny the fact that I could experience that unconscious guilt, I'm in the wrong denial. And that was a miracle that I somehow overcame my desire to be separate and to have this identity long enough to merge into the one mind that experienced that guilt. Miracles are merely the translation of denial into truth. If to love oneself is to heal oneself, those who are guilty do not love themselves. If to love oneself is to heal oneself, if I'm still feeling that guilt, if I'm still entrenched in that denial, I can't love myself and I can't heal myself. Therefore, they are asking for the love that would heal them, but which they are denying themselves. So when we're talking in the course about everything is either a call for love or an extension of love, if I can't love myself enough, if I can't, I'm asking for that love. Therefore, they are asking for the love that would heal them, but which they are denying themselves. So it's, you know, if we can't admit that we're denying ourselves love, how are we going to heal ourselves? If they knew the truth about themselves, they could not be guilty. If we knew that we never left God, if we knew that we didn't pull off the separation, how could we be guilty? We couldn't. The task of the miracle worker thus becomes to deny the denial of truth. And that's what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We need to deny the ego. And the ego is the denial of truth. The ego is telling us we separated. It's denying the fact that we're still one. It's denying the fact that we are in God. We have to deny that denial of truth. The guilty must heal themselves, for the truth is in them. I want to say that again. The guilty, it says sick here, but I'm using the word guilty. The guilty must heal themselves, for the truth is in them. We just have to recognize, you know, that we're not separate. Yet having obscured it, the light in another mind must shine into theirs because that light is theirs. So that's what we're doing for each other every day. Every day we are shining a light for one of us. One of us is sitting there thinking a wrong thought. And when we get together here and gather, one of us is speaking enough truth that having obscured it, the light in another mind must shine into theirs because that light is theirs. We're always speaking truth to each other. And that's the beauty of what goes on in this group, is that we're always shining the light. Somebody is always having a wrong thought. Somebody's always denying the truth. And it's just so beautiful that we can shine a light for somebody that's having a moment of darkness. The light in them shines as brightly regardless of the density of the guilt that obscures it. And that's where I substituted guilt for fog. The light shines in them as brightly regardless of the density of the fog or guilt that obscures it. So we're just bringing out that light when we hold the truth inside of us and recognize the truth for what it is. We're reflecting the light that's in somebody who can't really see it. If you give no power to the fog or guilt to obscure the light, it has none. We're giving guilt and the fog of obscurity all the power that it has. You know, that's one of those early lessons reworded. You are giving those thoughts all the power that they have to obscure anything. It's just fog, it's just a cloud. For it has power only if the Son of God gives power to it. Anything that we have that is not the love of God, that isn't joy and happiness and love. And Karen wrote in the chat, vigilance against the ego. That's what this whole section is about. Vigilance against the ego. It has power only if the Son of God gives power to it. He must himself withdraw that power, remembering that all power is of God. You can remember this for all the sonship. Do not allow your brother not to remember for his forgetfulness is yours. And I want to thank everybody for everything that they said this morning. There's such brilliance going on that everyone was talking about. Spirit was speaking through everybody this morning. And I want to thank everybody because, if I had a moment of darkness, it went away because do not allow your brother to not remember, for his forgetfulness is yours. And Karen wrote, yeah, vigilance against the ego is what we're talking about. And she said, vigilance against the belief in the ego. Because there is no ego, it's something we made up. The ego is what was constructed at that moment of separation. So there is. If you spot it, you got it. Joke's on me. But your remembering is his, for God cannot be remembered alone. So if I am denying the denial of truth, and that's what guilt is, that's what that guilt was the denial of truth. The minute the thought of separation occurred, the separation didn't happen, but the guilt did. And the guilt is what constructed everything. The guilt is what made this whole dream happen. And so if I am seeing my brother as not guilty, the dream is just as unreal for all of my brothers, even those who I don't like what's going on here. The dream is just as not real for them as it is for me. They are just as much a character in this as I am. We get caught up in thinking some other character in this dream is doing something wrong. And all of a sudden they become more real than we are. And we have to condemn them. No, please no. This is what you have forgotten, that God cannot be remembered alone. This is what you have forgotten, to perceive the healing of your brother as the healing of yourself is thus the way to remember God. And I want to say that again because it didn't go in deep enough for me. So I'm going to read it again. To perceive the healing of your brother as the healing of yourself is thus the way to remember God. Anyone who I'm condemning, anyone who I think is doing something wrong. Bye, Glorian. Glad you were here. Anyone who I think is doing anything wrong. If I perceive the healing of them as the healing for myself, I'm remembering God. If I perceive my brother not as guilty, as much of a character in the dream as I think I am, that's how I remember God. That's how I heal. For you forgot your brothers with him, capital H, God. For you forgot your brothers with God, and God's answer to your forgetting is but the way to remember. Got to take everybody. It's all mind or none. Perceive in guilt but another call for love, and offer your brother what he believes he cannot offer himself. Whatever the guilt, there is but one remedy. You will be made whole as you make whole. For to perceive in guilt the appeal for health or wholeness. I substitute wholeness for health there. You will be made whole as you make whole. For to perceive in guilt the appeal for wholeness is to recognize in hatred the call for love. If I think somebody is treating me badly, if I'm seeing hatred in anyone, that's how you see the call for love. When I first started hearing people talk about it's either love or a call for love, I'm like, yeah, that person who murdered somebody wasn't calling for love. That's not, how can murder be a call for love? To perceive in guilt the appeal for wholeness is to recognize in hatred the call for love. We can't be whole if we think we're separate. It has to be a call for love. And to give a brother what he really wants is to offer it unto yourself. And all anybody wants is love. That's all anyone is asking for. For your Father wills you to know your brother as yourself. Answer his call for love, and yours is answered. Wholeness, substitute for healing. Wholeness is the love of Christ for his Father and for himself. I think that's all the places where I substituted and hacked this section to pieces. But I'm going to keep reading because it's a beautiful section. Remember what was said about the frightening perceptions of little children, which terrify them because they do not understand them. Those are the monsters that we used to see under the bed when we were little kids. The frightening perceptions we're projecting out onto other people. All of these terrifying thoughts. Remember what was said about the frightening perceptions of little children, which terrify them because they do not understand them. If they ask for enlightenment and accept it, their fears vanish. If we ask for enlightenment and accept it, we can't see ourselves as separate any longer. So how can there be anything out there to scare us if we're not separate? There's nothing out there. How can we be scared? But if they hide their nightmares, they will keep them. So anything that we're frightened of, and I have a little bit of fright going on. I woke up all night last night thinking about the eye surgery I'm going to have next week. I'm going in for cataract surgery. I'm getting new eyeballs. Scared to death. But if I hid that, if I suppress it, if I don't talk about it, if I think it's not there and I don't welcome it and understand, fear is here. There's fear going on here. It's going to come out some other way. It's going to come out in a sick way, in a guilty way, in a dark way. If they hide their nightmares, they will keep them. It is easy to help an uncertain child, for he recognizes that he does not understand what his perceptions mean. I'm going to get angry. I'm going to yell, get irritable with somebody. If I don't admit that I have fear, that I have guilt, that something's going on, it's going to come out in another way. Yet to believe that you do not understand Yet you believe that you do not understand your perceptions. Little child, you are hiding your head under the cover of the heavy blankets you have laid upon yourself. You are hiding your nightmares in the darkness of your own false certainty and refusing to open your eyes and look at them. Denying the nightmare of guilt, me denying that I felt any of that unconscious guilt, was hiding it, and it does not make it go away. It's going to come out it's going to come out in a million different ways of me thinking I'm a victim. So please let me talk about my nightmare, because I don't want to be a victim next week when I go have surgery. Let us not save nightmares, for they are not fitting offerings for Christ, and so they are not fit gifts for you. Take off the covers and look at what you are afraid of. Okie dokie. Will do. I am I am terrified of somebody coming near my eyeball. Oh, that's one of my worst nightmares. Only the anticipation will frighten you, for the reality of nothingness cannot be frightening. Yay. Let us not delay this, for your dream of hatred will not leave you without help. And help, capital H, is here. Learn to be quiet in the midst of turmoil, for quietness is the end of strife, and this is the journey to peace. Look straight at every image that rises to delay you, for the goal is inevitable because it is eternal. We really have to look at the things that are bothering us, because if we try and hide them and if we try and suppress them, they're going to eat at us and gnaw at us, and that they'll never be let go. And that's the only thing we can do, is let them go. Look straight at every image that rises to delay you. Every time that we get triggered by anything, we have to look at it. Look straight at every image that rises to delay you, for the goal is inevitable because it is eternal. The goal of love is but your right, and it belongs to you despite your dreams. Despite the fact that I think I'm separate, despite the fact that I believe what the ego is telling me. Every once in a while, I try and look at it and I try and say, nope, that's the ego, not buying it. But sometimes it gets through. Sometimes it wiggles in sideways, and I don't realize what it's doing until it's too late, and I've got a belief. And I keep thinking I'm a me here with a problem. The goal of love is but your right, and it belongs to you despite your dreams. You still want what God wills, and no nightmares can defeat a child of God in his purpose. And we were talking about that earlier when we watched a Namaste Village recording from yesterday, that the egg is cracking. You know, we are moving forward as a consciousness. It is inevitable. Consciousness is moving forward out of this dream. There's nothing we can do. We keep thinking that we're just spiraling around and going in the same circle. but we're moving forward. There, you know, Lynn was saying just before I came on about how you can tell there's awakening happening all over the place. You keep hearing it from a million different directions. So the goal of love is, but you're right, and it belongs to you despite your dreams. You still want what God wills, and no nightmare can defeat a child of God in his purpose. For your purpose was given you by God. Our purpose is to be in God. We think we're dreaming, but our purpose was given to us by God. And you must accomplish it because it is his will. We cannot will against God. It's impossible. Awake and remember your purpose, for it is your will to do so. Awake. It says it right here. We can't not awaken. Awake and remember your purpose, for it is your will to do so. What has been accomplished for you must be yours. Do not let your hatred stand in the way of love, for nothing can withstand the love of Christ for his Father or his Father's love for him. And I'm going to hack that word hatred for guilt. Do not let your guilt stand in the way of your love. Do not let that unconscious guilt, that that feeling that we actually got away with the separation. Do not let your guilt stand in the way of love. It isn't true. It didn't happen. Accept the fact that it did not happen. For nothing can withstand the love of Christ for his Father or his Father's love for him. We cannot ever not be in communication with God or each other. We can't be alone and we can't be separate. It's impossible. It didn't happen. And for us just to accept that, that's the practice. That's practicing just as much as anything else. For us to just say, I understand it didn't happen. I will accept that in this moment, right now, for this holy instant. I will accept the fact that I'm not separate. I can, just for a second, we can do that. A little while and you will see me, for I am not hidden because you are hiding. Just because we're hiding in a body, in a personality, thinking we're this identity. I, the Christ, am not hidden because you are hiding. Karen's got her hand up. Go ahead, love. There you
Hey,
are.
I love this. Am I echoing?
Mhm.
Okay. I love what you were just sharing about practicing, like practicing not being separate. The way to remember God is to remember that we are all the same. Like Doug was saying earlier, that we're all the same, that we don't have separate interests, and we can practice that in every moment. You know, when I'm having that twinge of annoyance, that mild twinge of annoyance, or that stab of anger, that he talks about, I can just recognize, okay, what's going on here, and step back and, be quiet. And the answer is just what you said, to practice that we are not separate. Because if I'm having that, I'm seeing something. I'm seeing something that's not there. And I'm projecting it onto my brother, but it's really not my brother. It's really what we're saying here, that we need to be healed. It's look straight at every image that rises to delay you, for it's not the truth. It's not an image out there. It's the inward condition that needs to be healed. But I love this. This is such a great section. I'm so glad you're reading it. I could listen to it all day long. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy you're reading it because I love this section. So
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Because I was thinking, are people going to get bored? Because I'm just saying, somebody's going to say, well, I could read the book. I don't have to sit here and listen to you read the book.
oh, it's beautiful, and it's good that I just love the way you talked about practicing it. Practicing it is in every single moment of every single day because it's always happening that I'm thinking some kind of, the ego speaks first and loudest, so it's a definite practice all the time. So I need to be reminded. Thank you.
All the time. Thank you, sweetheart. All the time. The minute we get irritated by anything, that the practice is to, especially if it's another person. I see your hand, Sharon. Hang on one second. Especially if I think it's another purpose. Are their interests wanting to be loved, wanting to be recognized, wanting to be heard? I talked about that last week where I didn't want to hear my friend talking about what she was so absorbed in, and I got irritated and she got irritated with me because I didn't want to hear it. Her interest was just to be recognized that there was something that she was doing that she was good at. And just because I can't do that anymore, I got upset. Both of our interests were to be recognized for our feelings and our stupid human desires and our wants and our needs. It's always somebody is needing something to be recognized at that point. And can we step back and practice recognition of a brother is just needing to be heard. 90% of the time, it's just somebody felt like they weren't being heard. Go ahead, Sharon.
Oh, I didn't want to say much. I just wanted to say I agree with Karen. I love that you're doing this because we can't be reminded enough. As soon as we walk away, the mind will start talking, and then all of a sudden hypnosis comes under and we just fall into whatever. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you, sweetie. And actually, the only reason I ever do any of this, the only reason I say anything on a Thursday is because it's what I need to hear. So sorry, indulge me. I needed to hear about guilt this week and how to hear my brother. So I'm going to start paragraph 7 again. A little while and you will see me, for I am not hidden because you are hiding. I will awaken you. And see, we were just talking about this. This is so crazy. We were just talking about everybody waking up, and I will awaken you as surely as I awakened myself, for I awoke in you. We don't even have to do anything. It's already being done for us. So yeah, it's great that we're practicing and maybe we're speeding something up and maybe we're saving 1,000 years like it talks about in the course someplace, so maybe all this practice is doing us or the whole sonship some good, but it's happening anyway. I will awaken you as surely as I awaken myself, for I awoke for you. In my resurrection is your release. Our mission is to escape from crucifixion, not from redemption. We're escaping because we're crucifying ourselves. Every moment that we still think we believe the ego, that we have this identity, that this identity could be harmed or hurt or irritated in any way, we're crucifying ourselves. That's the crucifixion. And our mission is to escape from crucifixion, not from redemption. Trust in my help, for I did not walk alone, and I will walk with you as our Father walked with me. Thank goodness. Do you not know that I walked with him in peace? And does not that mean that peace goes with us on the journey? We're never alone. We're never separate. Karen, go ahead.
So, I mean, this is so awesome. I mean, this section is so intense. I mean, we could really stop and just stick with this one paragraph for a while, you know? I mean, really every paragraph. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so much, there's so much juice here. Um, but when he says here, trust in my help, for I did not walk alone. I mean, what better advice could we get than from some, like trust in my help. I walked that road. I know, and the walking is not walking alone. The way to remember God, we were talking about this earlier with Dove, like it really hit me hard when he said, when we talked about time, and he said, you know, time is a vast illusion because it's not the same for everyone. That's for everything. That's all of it, because that God sees all the same, to have, give all to all. And I was just brought to like the holy instant, because the holy instant is when we remember God. The holy instant is where we give up judgment entirely. There's no past, there's no future, there's only now. And in now, we bring everyone with us because there's only all, right? There's nothing else. So in chapter 15, you don't mind me reading this, do you?
No, please.
Chapter 15, section 6, the holy instant and the laws of God, in paragraph 8. In the holy instant, God is remembered, and the language of communication with all your brothers is remembered with him. For communion is remembered together, as is truth. There is no exclusion in the holy instant because the past is gone, and with it goes the whole basis for exclusion. That's it. That's like everything. So it's like, so he says in the course that we can be in this holy instant as long as we want and anytime we want. It's the resistance, like like you were talking about. You're talking about the guilt. You're talking about the belief in the ego. All that stuff is so strong. So what I'm learning here is it's okay. It's okay. I mean, we're always going to have that. As for me, I'm going to speak for myself. As long as I'm here in physical form, I'm going to have resistance. As long as I'm here in physical form, I'm going to have the idea that, I'm separate at times, but the gap is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And I notice it sooner and sooner and sooner. And I want to be in that holy instant more and more and more. And I recognize when I'm not, and I understand in that moment that I'm doing this to myself. I'm making a decision, right? I'm making a decision. I'm either in heaven or hell. And guess what? Right now, I want to be in hell. Okay. But normally it doesn't last long. But yes, I don't know what that noise is.
I'm
But,
sorry. They're dumping a dumpster.
oh, I thought it was me. I thought it was me. But that's all. I just
No,
wanted to
it's
share.
me. They'll be done
Like,
in 1 second.
this is just so rich. It's so rich what you're reading that I just had to share. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. That's awesome. And I want to point out also, like this one paragraph sounds like he's just talking about the crucifixion, and that he didn't walk alone then, um, because our Father walked with me. It's not just about, yes, it's talking about the crucifixion, but it's also talking about the awakening. It's also talking about he his awakening from the dream did not happen alone. God goes with us through this and has never bought into the idea of separation. So is always saying, I'm here with you. It didn't happen. That holy instant, it is available to you at any given second. that you just turn toward me instead of turning toward the ego. No, none of us are walking alone. The Christ, Holy Spirit, Jesus, God, whoever you relate to and can hold on to in that instant, if you just turn away from the ego and toward that holiness, it's there with us all the time. And Karen wrote in the chat, he tells us in the clarifications that we rose with him, all is one. Yeah, you know, if that's the image that can guide us toward turning toward the light instead of toward the ego, whatever we can hold on to is with us. We're not walking alone. We think we're in these bodies and we're separate and we're walking alone. We're not. So I'm going to go on to paragraph 8. There is no fear in perfect love. We will but be making perfect to you what is already perfect in you. That's a confusing sentence. I'm not going to pick it apart too much because Ken this morning in his lecture that Prudence played said, stop picking it apart every word. You don't have to understand every word. You just have to get what the feeling is. You just have to absorb the essence of it. But we will but be making perfect to you what is already perfect in you. That was better. We have everything we need. God and Christ are only making perfect in us what is already perfect in us. You do not fear the unknown, but the known. We're too attached to these bodies. We fear that we're going to be annihilated. We fear that if we let go of the ego, if we let the ego fall away, we don't even let go of it. It just falls away of its own. And we think that if we let that happen, we're going to be annihilated. We're not going to know who we are. We're going to be lost adrift in a sea of nothingness. You do not fear the unknown, but the known. We know what we are, and we're terrified of it. You will not fail in your mission because I did not fail in mine. Give me but a little trust in the name of the complete trust I have in you, and we will easily accomplish the goal of perfection together. If we just let go enough, with enough trust, it just falls away. The guilt and the anguish and the sickness and the hatred and all of that, it just falls away if we just trust enough. For perfection is and cannot be denied. To deny the denial of perfection is not so difficult as to deny truth. I'm going to read that again. To deny the denial of perfection is not so difficult as to deny truth. So it's much easier really to deny the ego, which is the denial of perfection. We can deny the ego. And it is not so difficult as to deny the truth. Because it's impossible to deny the truth. We can't deny truth. Oop, I only have 5 more minutes, so I'm going to stop extemporating quite so much. To deny the denial of perfection is not so difficult as to deny truth. And what we can accomplish together will be believed when you see it as accomplished, when we recognize that it is already accomplished. You who have tried to banish love have not succeeded, but you who choose to banish fear must succeed, because that's the natural order of things. The Lord is with you, but you know it not. Yet your Redeemer liveth and abideth in you. Boy, we went all King Jamesy there for a minute. Yet your Redeemer liveth and abideth in you, in the peace out of which he was created. Would you not exchange this awareness for the awareness of fear? Would we not exchange the glory of oneness for the awareness of separation? Absolutely. When we have overcome fear, not by hiding it, not by minimizing it, and not by denying its full import in any way, this is what you will really see. We will see the glory of the light. You cannot lay aside the obstacles to real vision without looking upon them. If I hadn't looked at that guilt and understood it and finally accepted it, I could not lay it aside. You cannot lay aside the obstacles to real vision without looking upon them. For to lay aside means to judge against. If you will look, the Holy Spirit will judge, and he will judge truly. Yet he cannot shine away what you keep hidden. I have been hiding that acceptance of the guilt after studying the Course for over a decade or two, no, 10, 12 years, something like that. If you will look, the Holy Spirit will judge, and he will judge truly. He cannot shine away what you keep hidden, for you have not offered it to him, and he cannot take it from you. I gave it. We are therefore embarking on an organized, well-structured, and carefully planned program aimed at learning how to offer to the Holy Spirit everything you do not want. And we do that by looking at it, admitting it's there, and giving it over. He knows what to do with it. You do not understand how to use what he knows. Whatever is given him that is not of God is gone. Guaranteed. Yet you must look at it yourself in perfect willingness, for otherwise his knowledge remains useless to you. we, I and a couple of friends and I used to get together. We were studying the Course together, and we would say, yep, I'm giving that over to Holy Spirit. I'm handing that over to Holy Spirit, without looking at it first. Yep, I don't want to look at this. I'm giving it to Holy Spirit. And for years, we thought we were handing it over. We cannot let go of these things until we are really looking at them. You can't hand over something that you can't even see. We have to admit to ourselves what's going on, or we cannot bring it up and out. Whatever is given him that is not of God is gone. Yet you must look at it yourself in perfect willingness, for otherwise his knowledge remains useless to you. Surely he will not fail to help you, since help is his only purpose. Do you not have greater reason for fearing the world as you perceive it than for looking at the cause of fear and letting it go forever? Do you which is the greater fear? Looking at something and being able to hand it over, or just fearing what our perceptions are showing us? if we can't look at them and we turn around every time and go, nope, nope, I don't want to look at that, it's still going to be there. Do you not have greater reason for fearing the world as you perceive it than for looking at the cause of fear and letting it go forever? We have to look at the cause, and the cause is always the separation. The cause is always the guilt over thinking we actually pulled it off. And that is the end of my time. Thank you so much for indulging me and letting me go through my own learning out here in public with everybody. And that's the way to let go, is to bring it up, bring it out, make it obvious, and let it go. Thank you all so much. It was great to see you. Lynn, are you here?
I am right here.
There she is.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Wonderful sharing. And that last one, where were you reading from? The last?
That was all section 2 in chapter 12, the way to remember God.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. I love that.